So, carrying on from where we left off, exactly, the next thing I'm going to do is create what they call a nav mesh. There's sort of two ways that Rain 1 helps you navigate around a game or a game world. One is with waypoints, and the other is with a nav mesh, which I suppose is technically just a grid of waypoints. I'm not sure, but in order to make any sense of a nav mesh, I'm going to have to create some basic terrain for it to map. So I'll just click on my terrain. I'm going to raise and lower the terrain. Brush size quite big. What does that do? It does nothing. Because I'm setting the terrain height at 0. This. I'm doing Control Z to undo, so it's quite awkward in this little window. But I tend to do these sort of lines like this. Seem to do it properly, that one. That's better. I think that's our mountain sort of look. And one of the things I particularly want to create is sort of some cliff, some quite sharp edges which have got you know, which are obviously impassable for our AI. Do a sort of a volcano-y looking one here. Reduce the size down a bit. Create some of these, I suppose, buttresses, like. Something, you know, to make it awkward for our AI to get around. Quite a big long one there. Right, with the exception of this one, which is I'm going to press Shift on this and makes it into a volcano, really. Leave that as it is, I guess. Just do some smoothing on it. To create the cliff, so the sharper edges, I'm going to get this one quite small and set the terrain height at 0, which is sort of my ground level, and I'm going to make these like one big, and just hack into this this edge here. And this is going to give us our straight edges. I quite like impassable terrain, and guessing in here too, you can see it's digging it out. as I say, this is just rough. I just want something for the nav mesh to calculate over. And it's, to a certain extent, you have to help and tweak the nav mesh, because it's gonna, you'll see later, it's gonna make mistakes based on the terrain, and I'll explain what I mean by that a bit later. I'll just get these, and I guess that you know, all this bumpy stuff down here, that should look like some sort of rock fall, you know, debris from rock falls. Ooh. It's taking longer than I thought. That was a bit too smooth. So it seems that you get these sort of slight razors before a cliff where the rocks have fallen down. Yuck. It's awful. Set the train out again. 0, just hack out these. Taking longer than I thought, but it'll be worth it in the end, because we're trying to make a natural looking terrain here that, you know, might be used in a game. So just do it roughly. So we've got some sort of cliffy areas here. And here. Got rid of me debris now. Never mind, it's, you get the gist of it. So right, we've got this very primitive type of terrain, and I'm going to do a save scene, a save project, and then we're going to create a nav mesh now. So it's called recast, so we're going to create a recast object. It appears in here. I'm gonna, because the world is 500 by 500, I'm gonna do my recast distance at 250. Now on the Rain 1 video tutorials, I forgot the guy's name, is it Adonis or someone? He set his at 100, but he had his cell size set at 1. So I figure that if I set my cell size at 4, so that's 4 yards square, it's going to be less resolution, but it's a bigger map. Now the other thing I want to do is, I've selected the terrain, and I'm going to add a layer, and I'm going to call it layer underscore terrain, and this, on this layer, anything that's sort of terrain type object like a rock or, you know, some ground, is going on this layer. And what that allows us to do in the recast is I've just looked at the clock and it's 10 minutes. I'm going to cut this one here and do another video, so I'll be back in a short while with the rest of this. Let's do a quick save, and I'll be back in a minute.